So let's get to Barbie and Oppenheimer first, and then we'll deal with the Gal Gadot bombshell. So Barbie is set to make $1 billion very, very soon, which is very rare this year. And Oppenheimer is also doing incredibly well. This may well be Christopher Nolan's biggest box office hit. And in terms of the Meg and Mutant Mayhem, they are performing decently, given their budgets, but they are clearly not exceeding expectations. And finally, Haunted Mansion looks like it will be at least a minor flop, at the very least, for Disney. But let's get to the big news, which is Gal Gadot is officially back. She confirmed that they are working on Wonder Woman 3. This will be without Patty Jenkins. Apparently, she's very clear she will not be a part of this in any capacity, but I suspect they will use parts of her script and give her a producer credit or something. So what is going on with the Gunnverse? Well, initially it seemed that they were just rebooting the whole thing, and these other films, The Flash, Aquaman, and Blue Beetle, were just sort of loose ends. But after about 3 box office failures, it's looking like they're trying to use the Barbie effect. They're just looking at the numbers, and they really can't afford to get rid of Gal Gadot. But the question is, why is Henry Cavill still gone? I mean, BVS made money. Maybe it didn't make tons of money, but it did make money. It was profitable, and I guess Warner Brothers wanted something even more profitable and want to be very cheap with the new Superman, as best as I can figure. And with Ben Affleck, it's just a complete disaster. Initially, Gunn said he was going to work on one DC film at least, and Ben Affleck clarified, no, he's not working on anything with the Gunnverse. It looks really bad and silly and sad that it's very disorganized. So the one good thing about the Gunnverse, that it was going to be more clear than the last verse, the Hamadaverse, is not true. It's just as confusing as before, and it's failing miserably. In fact, we don't even know where things are. Is Blue Beetle a part of the Gunnverse? I don't know. You don't know. It's still very, very confusing. That said, I do think his Superman project looks promising. Some of these projects look promising, and definitely now Supergirl looks like it will be very, very well funded because they're definitely going to try to reach that female audience. But beyond Supergirl, Swamp Thing, and a few other things, I don't see the point of this universe. It just seems like Gunn wanted his ego and wanted his version of the DC universe, which again is fair. But I think the question is, why did he have to, quote, offend the Snyderverse and the Henry Cavill fans and the Ben Affleck fans? He could have just done something much more transitional and much more in the middle to get to the new universe, but instead they wanted something very quick and just reboot the whole thing entirely and not give the fans what they wanted, and they suffered a major, major price. This has now been a very divisive period. And finally, we're getting some news with the Ben Affleck script, and apparently it was a very interesting idea for Batman, and that will not happen. So it just feels like Gunn really misjudged the audience and that he overestimated how unpopular Snyder was or how lukewarm people were about Henry Cavill. But I gotta say, as someone who paid money to see Black Adam, I was very excited for what they were going to set up with Henry Cavill and Shazam and Black Adam. And that thing would have been a guaranteed hit. There's no doubt in my mind it would have made at least a little bit of money if they controlled the budget. But instead, they decided to just go with this new universe for whatever reason and just shell out all these promises and projects, which we know not all of them will happen. And why? Again, I can understand him not liking The Rock and wanting to have creative control, but I think, again, a more moderate solution would have been useful to everyone. Just give the Gal Gadot fans what they want, give the Henry Cavill fans what they want, and give the Ben Affleck fans what they want, and just transition slowly to the new universe. But instead, they just alienated a lot of the audiences, and it's a very open question whether they will come back, even for Gal Gadot. I'm willing to see what they're going to do with Wonder Woman 3, but a lot of the new Gunn universe is definitely a very big question mark now.